to the cloud. Oh yeah. Yeah, a little weird.
I wish the red light would come on.
Oh, like a
I
recording.
wanted to get you one for Christmas. They were
So expensive.
I mean, like insane.
Yeah, no, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need that. Hey y'all. Welcome to a family style episode. I don't really put the videos out there. You don't have
In
to
case you do.
wave. Okay. Hey, Elaine's here.
Why are we videoing then?
Because I put a little snippet online, a little teaser.
Please put that. Please put that
teaser. That's what we need.
Hey, we gotta deal with it if you're on the screen.
Okay. Now that's why I told you not even to look at the screen. Okay. Both our children are napping.
Yes.
Right now. We've wanted to record this episode for a little bit, but both of our children usually aren't napping at the same time during the day, or we have things to do, and then we're tired at night. Yeah, but we're here now.
Tired at night. We are so tired at night.
We are so tired at
We
night.
got it better.
What are you on about? Today we're going to talk about like running and mental health. You can't do this right now.
Yes, I can. I can do this. Yes,
No, you can't do it. You're not in a good place, I can tell.
Or I can do it. Go.
No, it's okay.
No, I really can. I want to talk about mental health and running. Go.
Thanks, Radar.
Radar
has dropped the toy on the ground. Please excuse us. You got it.
No, that's Max.
Okay. This is not going well. We can do this later.
No, I want to do this.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I want to do this with you.
But you're not ready. You don't even know what you're going to say or anything.
I am mostly listening because I feel like I don't use running a lot as a mental health tool, but as much as I'm more interested in hearing your perspective on
it. Interesting. What is my perspective on it?
Well, I mean, so for example, is this recording now?
It's recording. It's never stopped.
I'd like to know a little bit. I'm going to ask you a question, Ally.
Go for it.
How do you use running for your mental health?
Well, the whole reason I got into running a little bit was because of my mental health. Radar, you're the worst. You're about to get kicked out, homie. Okay, so she should be good now. I got into running during like a tumultuous time in my life. I was coming off of a breakup. I was coming off of being cut off from my family and my little sisters, and really like bad depression. And so I got into running that way. And I just started running, said I was going to lose weight, and then just kept up with it and found a lot of joy in it. And then like I've used running at other hard times in my life to kind of give me something to focus on, even helping myself focus on myself, which I think is a hardship. Yeah, and I still use it. It feels like I'll start to get like too busy in my head if I don't run, which is I think how a lot of people use it. And I mean, you hear a lot of people say like that running is their therapy, which like running doesn't replace therapy, right? But it can be a tool to help you feel better. Yeah.
So what is it that running does specifically for you? Like you're out there, feet hit the pavement.
My feet hit them. It hits the pavement. Yeah.
And you have explicitly said that you use it as a therapeutic tool. So you're going to go out there. Do you feel like one, that you have to be in a certain space to receive from it?
It's like twofold. Like one of it is the practice of doing it. You and I have talked about this a lot recently, how I am trying to struggle with feeling selfish going on a run. We've got 2 young kids. If I leave to go on a run, Elaine is obviously left with the children. Sometimes I take Juniper, and it feels like something I'm just doing for myself, which is healthy to do. You should take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
But also feels a little selfish to do it. So I know every time I'm doing something for myself, that's good. And it's always positive to go on a run, no matter how I'm feeling or whatever. And then 2, I think I've created such a discipline around it that it brings balance to my life. Like a million other things keep going on, but I'll still get my run in. And so it feels like stuff's even and whatever. Yeah.
So, I mean, that almost sounds like, so for you, it sounds like something you still have control over.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes.
Like a small space that you're still like, oh, I can be like.
Yeah, like my run will always be there. It will always
right.
exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was
so maybe it's part of it. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. No, go for it.
Well, it sounds like the reliability of the run.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Run is there for you.
I say this to my athletes all the time because it does get into a habit, especially if you're training for a race or training for like a really long distance, that like you feel like you have to do your run. It can sometimes feel like a burden. And I tell my athletes who are struggling with that at different points of sickness or whatever, that was like the running will always be there. The miles will always be there. Right. And so I think it is that like running will always be there. Yeah. Running's a consistent in my life.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I find that a lot of people can get into like, even myself, I've had an unhealthy relationship with running at times.
Tell me more.
Yeah, like where, maybe you do use it as a crutch or as you rely on it too much and you don't have balance in other aspects of your life. Like, when I was going through my divorce, I was like undertrained. I was coming off like Ball State and stuff like that. The relationship was like falling apart. And I decided to go. I was like, I'm gonna go on a trail run to these new trails. And I did 16 miles. And I was very, very untrained for 16 miles. And I tore my calf muscle out on the trails. And then what did I do? I kept running.
Why would you do that?
I kept running because I don't know. It felt like something I had to do. And if I'm not going on a run, I'm not a runner. And then, I had an unhealthy relationship with running at that stage, especially coming off of training for Ball State, which is an unhealthy thing to do. I love it, do it, but it's unhealthy. So I tore my calf. And now what do I complain about all the time? I have a tight calf and tight hamstrings because of my tight calf.
Yeah.
And everything is impacted by this overtraining, dumb injury that I never just let my body heal and stop running. And I see a lot of athletes struggle with when they have an injury, like wanting to run through it and everything, which is not healthy.
Well, what would be the healthy thing to do?
Take care of yourself in other ways. I tell some of my athletes to like enjoy the time not running. Like enjoy time with your family, enjoy the extra space to breathe, enjoy it and do a different activity that's not as hard on your body for a minute. I try to help them refocus and once again remind them that like the running will always be there. Yeah. You don't have to rush back to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that you can't speak for everybody in the running community, but would you say that a lot of the athletes that you have met in your life and are friends with use running as a mental health relief?
Yeah, I mean, you and I talk about this often, and I've definitely said it on the podcast. I will say for people running not ultra distances, I don't know, a bit more inconsistent. Ultra distances, I've yet to meet one person who isn't using running as a tool to deal with some sort of darkness or something in their life.
Right.
They're using it to process or found it along the way, or, they're coming from addiction or mental illness or tragedy, I've yet to meet a single ultra runner that doesn't have that kind of background. And really most runners I know are using it in some capacity or maybe found it in a way to help cope. Yeah. Right. So most people, I mean, like for myself, I didn't run all through high school and whatever. You couldn't get me to do anything athletic really.
Yeah.
And so I used running once I found it to like deal with the transition coming off, being cut off from my narcissistic mother and then dealing with all the emotions and processing, even being in therapy at that time. I mean, running was such a shelter for me at that. Yeah. And I mean, I still use in that capacity.
You mean like in terms of like you go out and you run into space that that person can't take from you or something, like they can't, it's impregnable from them?
It's where I used to like process emotions, even like what, a couple days ago, I was like in my own headspace and I needed to go on a run just to work through just noise in my head. And I think it gives me that space where, nothing else is going on. I have no other responsibilities. I can't do laundry or dishes or respond to an email or whatever. All I can do is be running. And then that gives my brain time to kind of work through different issues, whatever that I'm processing.
Like silences.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never
exterior noise.
violent. I don't run without headphones.
No, but you know what I mean. Like in your mind, it provides like a space.
Yeah, it is an escape in a lot of ways.
It's good.
For sure.
You know, and it got me thinking over here. I thought about the idea of, is there a difference between using something as a coping mechanism, and is it, at what point is it therapeutic, or what point is it not? And what point do you have, should you be seeking mental health?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Therapy.
hard balance. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's different for every person, probably.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But I think when it starts to feel like a compulsion, like honestly, I think being pregnant and having a forced stop on running has helped me even realize my own just compulsion to run, where I feel like I have to do it. I have to do it or I'm not going to feel right. Like I have to do it. And it's not like I'm sitting there thinking that in my head. It's just like a sensation that I can, you know, attach to later. Yeah, I think it's individual per person. I mean, I definitely have experienced it in my athletes. I've experienced in different runners I know where I'm just like, who should probably do something else, probably take a break from running, you know, to like refocus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably pretty individual.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. I mean, I know I don't necessarily use running when I think of like dealing with my trauma. It's not like, oh, I'm going to run or anything like that. I do find it therapeutic when I do run.
Yeah. In what way?
In what way? I think that um, for things, for me, it makes me really appreciative for my body and the enablement of my body. And I know that sounds odd, but my grandmother only had one leg and she didn't have her vision. And
you say that all the time.
So I feel that. I think all the time, like I watched her with her one leg and it seemed harder for sure. I was like, oh God. So every time now I run, I tell you this all the time when we run together. I'm like, oh, I'm so thankful for my legs.
Yes.
You know, I do. I'm appreciative of my, that what my body can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that I think it like puts me more in maybe a connection with my body in a way that it wouldn't. And it gets me out, in a sense, gets me out of like out of one noisecape and into another.
Yeah, it's getting you to like a place of gratitude.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. And I mean, clearly it's proven to make you feel somewhat euphoric.
Yeah. So you get a runner's high.
You get a runner's high afterwards.
I mean, you never regret. I don't regret a single run that I went.
No, I've never regretted a run. That's why sometimes it's what will get me out. We'll be like, we'll never regret it.
We never regret a single run. It's just hard to get out the door a lot of the time.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I do feel like I say that I don't use it for therapy, but I have definitely found times in my life where I'll be like, I have to just get out for a run to clear my mind. And I'm doing it for that intent, to use it as that kind of headspace.
Yeah. I mean, you ran a lot in your 20s, right? You just go out and run alone. Yeah. And that was definitely like a time for you.
It was a time for me. I was completely closeted, but I like had my first girlfriend and was very much in love and left because I was so afraid of coming out.
Yeah.
And it was crushing.
Yeah.
You know, to crush someone you love, to crush yourself. And then, of course, what that did to me in terms of shame was terrible. And yeah, so I ran a lot in my 20s.
Yeah, you just go out and like do a 10K.
Yeah.
Just by yourself.
Yeah. I would sign up for like a 10 miler or like go do things that, you know, at 25, which now I reflect and I'm like, gosh, who is this person? Yeah. But I meet people like this all the time at our races and our events too.
Yeah.
So 25-year-olds out doing like way more than me, honestly, guys. I'm not running. I've never done more than a marathon.
I know. It's interesting to meet people. And I think that, you know, where we've created Cuss and we get to meet a lot of different backgrounds of people and we get a lot of communication from runners, especially like marginalized athletes that will open up and like tell us their stories. And it's like, oh man, everybody's dealing with some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is.
People out and people that are using running to like process their shit. I mean, we got an email the other day from someone reaching out to get our scholarships that we grant to marginalized athletes to come to our races and had just come out of the closet in like their 40s or 50s.
I feel that.
Oof.
Yeah.
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 Like it's so impactful to read those stories and you're like, man, I thought I had stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like other people, not to like rank anything above the other, but like,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't come out till I was 30.
Yeah, it's wild. I came out of the womb just
gay.
gay as can be.
Just gay.
Just gay as can be. Couldn't hide it from anybody.
But when you actually came out to your mom, it didn't go well.
Yeah, it didn't go well for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wasn't kind about it, even though she had called me a dyke like all through high school, like growing up. Like she knew it wasn't like a shocker, but like no, it did not go well for me or for us, and she was incredibly cruel and continues to be.
Yeah.
As far as I know. Yeah, and I've not talked to her in, geez, 15, 16
Wow.
years. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because, you have that you're running over, you run because of this thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Still probably maybe you run for this.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's something that I'll struggle with my whole life.
Yeah.
But it is strange to think like that was an impetus for me getting into running, and then everything that's running's brought to my life. I mean, we have a running company now.
That's
I have
right.
so many good friends from running.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm a running coach, like would I have had that impetus without that? I don't know. I don't know, but that was really the impetus for me.
No, I know.
Weird.
I mean, it was the impetus for meeting me, really.
Yeah. Was it?
I don't know. Come on, babe.
I don't think we did that. I mean,
you have been in Knoxville. That's where we met.
Who knows?
Who
knows? I mean, I did start running, lived in Knoxville. I already lived there. I'm sorry, running did not bring us together.
No, it didn't. No.
I'm sorry to say. But we were at several of the same races together.
We were.
We learned that after the fact. And what do I always say to you? Because we experienced several moments where apparently we were near each other in the vicinity at the same events.
I have no idea what he's
saying. Same concerts, same country. We were in Ireland.
That's true.
What do I always say to you?
I don't know. What is it?
That you weren't ready for me yet.
Oh gosh. Wow.
You just weren't ready for me yet.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what I say.
That's what you say.
You had to cook a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You weren't ready for this much love and affection.
Had to marinate.
You had to marinate.
I had to marinate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other topics you want to do it?
Well, no, there was something else I wanted to say.
Take your time to edit.
I did think that you might want to say, this could be a trigger warning if you've ever been through trauma.
Oh, I can put that in the top.
Yeah.
I can put that at the top of the hour. Yeah, I'll put that at the top of my intro. I'll put a trigger warning. Yeah.
And if people say, hey, if you like this kind of conversation, we'll pick up where we left off and we can talk a little bit more, because you normally don't share about yourself. Yeah.
I think I would say, give us your thoughts. Let us know how you've used running as like a coping skill, or if you struggled with having an unhealthy relationship with running and what's that look like. Yeah. Any other questions for us, send them our way. We're happy to answer. This is just a topic that's been on our mind for a little bit.
True.
We'll be back next week with a really cool interview with an athlete from the West Coast. Yeah.
Okay. Do we know this person's name, or do we?
Nick is this person's name. Yeah.
Guys, Nick.
I don't know how to pronounce their last name, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to learn that.
Like literally not going to say it because it's like,
no, I just don't know how to pronounce it, and I always like to ask people before I go try and pronounce the name. Really... Yeah, so I have an interview with Nick, and that'll be the next one. They're a rad athlete from out west.
Rad.
I hope that made it in the recording.